for everyone to learn about. Oh, sorry, I'm just being, um, here we go. There we go. There's something on every single topic for people to learn about. Um, you do for a lot of the more serious games, you do need the ability to download things on your computer. I don't know about whether you're in the classroom or not. Um, there's I have my students all have Chromebooks, but they cannot actually download anything onto their computers. We have to go through the IT department, and they have to put it onto each computer. So if it's a hassle, some of these games, of course, are not for you. Um, so some of my fun faves in the more serious uh, department um, are things like The Lure of the Labyrinth, which is a math game. I teach high school English, but I think it's important to note that you don't have to just cover your subject content in an English class. Skills are skills, and games are not just practicing rote skills. They are offering students the opportunity to think and solve problems and puzzles, which is a skill that transcends whether it's an English classroom or a math one. Um, there's also what I like about this professional development on the Lore of the Labyrinth website, which um, I have linked there for you. And I do know several middle school teachers that use this game and the professional development there. Um, there's things like Wolf Quest, which over here in the corner, which is a science-based game where it lets players learn what it's like to life as a wolf in Yellowstone National Park. So of course the students here are not practicing skills that they would need for their own future, but they're learning more um, about animals and science and whatever it is that looking to teach in the classroom. So there's games like that that are more subject specific. Um, um, I personally love the fooddetectives.com. It's about food safety. Um, and again, this one, in my opinion, transcends all content areas and all age groups because it offers important facts about preventing foodborne illness and other things like that. Um, which of course is a skill that all people need. Um, looking over to where it says the desert nomad. This one's about ancient Egypt, and it's a multiplayer online role playing game. So many people are playing at one time. I've had students actually use this from home, where because it is so interactive. Um, it has a focus on economic and community development, definitely for an older student and or an adult, because it's more about business and even though you're going back to ancient Egypt, it's still the same sort of skill sets. So that has no combat. I know most of my students are they play Fortnite and everything else um, in online settings with other people, and they are almost all combat based. This multiplayer online game has no combat in it at all. Of course, I would not have chosen it if it did. Um, and lastly, a great resource is nobelprize.org that houses a ton of educational games. again, this is perfect for the educator that needs lots of um, independent games that students can play and sort of click through. Um, the one thing about the Nobel Prize.org educational games are that they all have something to do with some Nobel Prize awarded achievement. They teach students about it, they inspire you, and um, and all while learning. The only downside to the Nobel Prize.org educational games are that they do not change. They 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 don't get updated at all. So right now they do work and they are interesting, but the site even tells you that there's no plans to update these as they are the game will remain the same until it just doesn't work anymore with modern technology. So there is a timestamp, I don't know when that is, on nobelprize.org. So in summary, I just want to go back to this slide because I think that these three things are super important no matter whether you have kindergartners, middle schoolers, high schoolers, college students, or just adult learners. Um, Selecting games that offer authentic learning experiences, scenarios that they might actually encounter somewhere, somehow in their future, um, practicing different responses. Um, they were games that allow them to practice different responses that every time they open it, they have to do something different. And again, super important as we are all sitting here as our personalized selves. Games that offer students the opportunity to personalize their experience, whether it's a complete personalization by the use of an avatar or even just um, adding their name. I think that it's important for the students to really connect with the game and feel like they are in it. Anyone have any questions for me?
Oh, I always have questions, you know that. Actually, I've got a lot of questions and comments. I just wanted to
Okay,
wait until you were done. First of
sure.
all, congrats on trying to get your students to do multiplayer games. And I think that that's a big step for traditional teachers. A lot of the teachers that I talk to at my school in Southwest Virginia or in general are still using pretty much single player stuff, or they're doing quizzes or standardizing testing, or maybe they'll do something like Kahoot, which is multiple choice, where the kids can compete against each other. And I feel like that's not keeping up with where we need to be. And in Virginia, there's even a computer technology standard that says that educators and students will use virtual environments. And I didn't know about it until the director of technology told me that years ago. Um, but very few people, really enforce that or try and do it because of, I guess, some of the technical limitations. But I guess first question I have is there a cost to each of these programs that you use?
Um, all of the ones that I selected here, there's no cost. Um, we I'm in New Jersey, and in New Jersey, I don't know if anyone knows anything about New Jersey. Every town is its own separate district, so we've got just hundreds of school districts in New Jersey. So with that being said, there is limited um, funding for almost anything that you want to add to your classroom experience. So I do purposely seek out things that are free or super low cost for me to have a teacher account where the students can play. I did mention Classcraft, which I know that many people know about. That is not free, but I Classcraft in general has greatly improved my classroom environment. It does make my entire classroom feel like a game, even though um, when they're not actually playing them on their Chromebooks. Um, so all of these resources are free. Um, and that's basically all that I look for. But I do use the Classcraft as a learning management system, which is not free.
Because all right, so my next comment is going to be this: as a developer, because I'm going to put my other hat. I'm an educator, but I'm also a developer.
Okay.
A lot of the things you're asking for, things like customization, randomization, are actually very difficult to program. Typically, that sort of thing is going on. Even high-end games can be linear. And so I know, and boy, this is all over. When I go to conferences, everybody says go for the free stuff. Problem with going for the free stuff is that it puts developers out of business if they can't make money. And my biggest thing that I have against it is I understand we want to be free, but why is it that we spend $1.7 billion on regressive multiple choice testing with Pearson? These people are not pushed to do anything innovative. They're just doing the same old garbage multiple choice stuff when there's a lot of innovative developers out there that just can't get any traction because they have no funding. It's just insane that we are funding this multiple choice craze to ridiculous amounts of money, and there are companies out there that are trying to come out with problem-based learning, project-based learning. There's a Kickstarter going on right now by a company I have a lot of faith in. Cyan Worlds is trying to raise 1.28 million bucks. They're up to 600,000 just from private citizens. I don't know if they're going to make the goal on Kickstarter. They may have to cancel their project. It's a shame because it's all beautiful graphics, no violence, problem solving. I use their stuff all the time. All right. And they just can't get the money that they need. It's ridiculous what's going on, that we've got decision makers that are mired in the 1970s when technology. All right. I'm going to get off my soapbox so somebody else can
No, I think
go on
you're
a
absolutely
tirade at
right.
this
Yeah.
point.
Have
Oh,
you
good
also involved
question.
in game creation or evaluating games? So as in regards to game creation, um, my I use a lot of design thinking in my classroom, which of course asks students to um, find a problem and a ultimately find a real world solution to that problem. And so ultimately, many of those real world solutions tend to be uh, like apps. Now, my district supports that um, that line of teaching and runs a a hack free a hackathon every winter, where students come to the hackathon that do know how to code, and they work through the creation of these simple applications and games. Um, Now, while that does not apply to every one of the students that walks through my classroom, I do encourage the students that really take an interest into game development um, to uh, to go to the hackathon and really get instruction on how to to develop their games and their applications. On a more basic level, I do get students involved with not with gamification concepts that I apply into my classroom. So things like random events or or uh, incentives are given based on things that happen in class crafts. I do ask students, my normal group of students, to offer suggestions and basically develop our gamified classroom in that way. And so that's how I do that in my classroom and within
Uh,
our
Sh-
district as a whole.
Chantel, y'all know it was coming after you just laid the line. Have you heard of Unity 3D? Have any of your kids played around with game development in that platform?
No, I have not.
You guys got to check it out. It's
I
free to
am. I'm
download
Googling
and
it right
try out.
now.
Yeah, here's the starting point, unity3d.com. Do yourself a favor, download the 2017 version. Do not jump in to 2018. I
Okay.
run a game development club at my school. I'm a science teacher, but I can do computers as a club, and we use Unity. And some kids have done some amazing work with Unity. You can basically go anywhere you want. You can do virtual reality, you can do single player, you can do multiplayer. There's just tons of servers that are set up to handle Unity. It is the programmer's choice. Or thing to do is get in touch with a developer if you've got ideas for your own game. And there are plenty of people within the Unity that would be able to help you and get you started.
Awesome. That is, yeah, I'm looking at the website on my Mac right now. This is definitely something that many of my students need to be involved with. Yeah.
Yeah, the latest version, 2018, is really tough.
Okay.
I had my club start to look at it. 2017 is still pretty user friendly.
Yeah.
I had one thought about both that Unity 3D or whatever the computer programmers who those who are developing these wonderful uh, games for academia. To me, it seems so logical that so much time in World of Warcraft and all of these are done with the idea that you have to get a +1 sword or your magic spell or all these things that you want to have done in your game. So you do all these hoops and jump through all these things to get your +1 sword or your magic spell. Well, why don't we put that into, okay, you have to learn hydrogen and go through the periodic table. And if you combine this and this, you get your +1 sword. And if you and look from things that you actually, instead of saying it's just a rock from here and so on, so that they actually have components in them, you could integrate it, I think, very easily within a actual role-playing game where you actually go looking and finding stuff. Anyways, that was my thought. It seems that these games, although I haven't played them, really sad for me. Why is no rewards good? That doesn't make any sense to me, but since
No,
uh
no, sorry, I left out a comma. I meant to
okay.
say no comma
Oh, I was thinking
rewards.
the same thing.
All
I was
right,
like,
good
no
idea.
reward.
This is an example of why proper punctuation is important in communicating any ideas.
Oh, I've been yelled at about that too. I have a tendency to malleate the English language. Rewards are a good idea. Well, the bottom line, I thought, you could actually do Hall of College. You can put it in, and everybody starts off with a black T-shirt. And as you get farther along in your field of study, your T-shirt gets wider and wider, and you can show off. By the time you graduate, it's glowing. I mean, all of these things that it doesn't actually tell you that I've got an straight A or that I'm a 3. or 2.0, but it shows that you're progressing within your thing. I mean, there's so many very influctuating absolutes that you could put, or starts white and gets blacker and blacker. Well, you don't want to get blacker and blacker if you're getting graduated. You want to go from black to white, don't you? Want to make it superb. But anyways, there are so many opportunities, and it just seems like no one seems to be getting it. I was interviewing at a University of Utah, and the chair was upset because so much is going to technology. And I said, "Don't worry, I can help you with that." She says, "No, I don't want to have to learn it. I already got my PhD." And I get that kind of debate. And no one wants to change what they have learned is in stone and it's got to be right. That makes it real.
True, true. Well, I think what's going on is some people feel just trying to keep up with basic perfunctory software like gosh, at my high school, everything is going tech. I mean, we do attendance through technology, grades. You want to sub, you got to log on. You got to verify your timesheet. I spend more and more time just routine tasks on technology. And when it doesn't work, you get frustrated. And then people go, and you want me to do all this multiplayer stuff? You know, it is, it is a challenge.
Chantel, at your school, do you feel that there's a culture of innovation?
I certainly feel like there is a culture of innovation from the top down. However, um, many of the people at the bottom, the teachers, um, while they are moving towards more innovative practices slowly, um, they are moving like snails. Many teachers are, of course, extremely stuck in the way that they have always done things, as I'm sure that is in most places. Um, but there is a big push from the top down for teachers, administrators to think more, to just do everything more innovatively. So there's our superintendent is ready to drop grades altogether, just in general, just changing the system as a whole. The funding is there for hardware, as I mentioned, not necessarily for the tools to put on that hardware, but there's um, they are trying, but the teachers themselves are moving very slowly in having that uh, in doing anything that even just having their students even think more outside of their subject area, just normal lessons that for which they use a their computer to do something that the students could do off of the computer. So there is a little bit of a struggle there, but the spirit is there from the superintendent down.
Can I jump in again on this? Because it's ironic you brought up the magic word. We just got a grant in my school district, and we're part of some kind of consortium. There's like 26 school districts involved in this grant. And next year, we're moving into an innovation study. And the first thing that the principal did was he pulled aside students and teachers and asked them to define the word innovation. And I didn't think much of it. I thought there was just one definition, but oh my gosh, the feedback he got was everything from, oh, my teacher cares about me and that makes me special. Well, I hope teachers care about you. I don't see that. I hope that's not innovative. I hope that's been going on for millennia. Okay. To another one said, well, the school keeps up with the latest version of Final Cut in the TV production. Well, great, but what does that help? How does that help you be innovative? You know, new things are you doing? And of course, to me, innovation is high tech and coming out with a new app or coming out with new software. And I talked to the principal about it. He said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "We are all over the board when it comes to people just defining the word innovation and what it means to them." So, and you hit it right on the head. This is going to be, I bet this is going to be a top down thing, where it's the administration has got to change their mind. I took some initiative and took another teacher to the museum at the request of the chairperson of my department, and we got flack from it. You would think two teachers going to a museum, working with curators, coming up with new lesson plans, that would be considered innovative and you want to encourage it. And this, I got permission, but this other teacher evidently didn't. She caught flack from it. And I'm going like, and you want to know why teachers don't be innovative? Because they're worried about that kind of feedback from administration.
Absolutely. I picked up a grammar school science book from back in my day, and the first few pages I scanned again filled me with excitement. Not because it taught me anything, because it asked me questions. It gave me something to do. Go lie on your stomach in your yard and list all the things you see, hear, smell, touch, and possibly see something you could taste or lick, like water off the grass. That is exciting, mostly because no one can tell me that I didn't see, hear, smell, or touch those things. They were mine to own. My own observation, my own thoughts. I am valuable because I can perceive and share with others what I've experienced. Now the drones are not allowed to have experiences. Only those we have labeled great are allowed to state facts. They will never know what I saw while on my belly in my yard. Why am I not valuable for my observations, just as well as they are with theirs? There seems to be education's purpose now to remove individual validity. That's from one of my blogs on my website. So sorry. It could say better than I can say it. A fast forward. I've changed my website, and I am putting up the 150, no, 28 blogs back up on the website on the new site. So this is the one about the blog components that have some of the educations, but they're not done. I mean, I don't have them all up there. I have one that actually has the solution to education, but that was the one I was kind of tentatively talking about, college graduate t-shirts and getting a +1 sword type stuff.
Awesome. Thank you.
The one I was looking for isn't up yet, so I'm going to go right out as soon as I finish here and put that one up. So I'm going to look through my education blog, see if I can get more up. Minecraft is cool. The kids get excited about that.
Not
Even if
many
it
high school teachers are using Minecraft, at least in my district, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Minecraft's a little, more for the younger set of kids. I mean, there's definitely older kids that do at high school level, but I think most schools start with the elementary. In the school I've been working at, some of the high school kids have been tapping into the islands of the little kids and breaking things. The joys of
Unfortunately, that's how one learns, is by breaking things. Good portion of the time. Uh, that is the fun of it, is breaking it and putting it together and then building it again. And we don't allow for anybody to break things or redo it again. Everybody has to just follow one set course to. So it's lost all the fun.
Any more questions for Shantel? Dr. Scott? Their avatars. Supply SS. Dr. Scott, thank you
Thank you for having
so
me.
much for being a part of this. This was really great. A lot of great resources. It was nice that we had the Google slide presentation because
Oh,
then you can
yes.
see the links that you shared. So we probably should have thought of that from the beginning, but
Very true. Well, now we know.
yeah. So thank you for joining us. I hope you'll come back for our monthly sessions. Hopefully
Oh,
this isn't
absolutely.
your first time and only time. We want you back.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely. Thank you for bearing with me and the time that it took me to get set up today. But I'm so glad that it worked out, and it's been really great to meet all of you, talk to you, and I am definitely going to check out this blog that is in my browser right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again, Chantel.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone, for participating. It's a great conversation.
I agree. See everybody in Philadelphia, I hope.